गिरिवरधारी जय जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीर वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय जय यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीर वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय वल्लभ यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीर वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद श्री कृष्ण नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Shri Shri Gauranitai. Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jaya Radha Shyama Sundar, Radha Shyama Sundar Radhe. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Jai Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivacharya Ashtotar Session Divine Grace Abhay Charnarvinda Bhakti Vedanta Samshla Prabhupada Ki Jai ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय साम्यत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायस्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। So welcome everyone for today's Bhagavatam class. Grateful to Dharmatma Prabhu and the devotees for giving me a chance. So let's read Canto 10, Chapter 44, the killing of Kamsa. Which verse is displayed first? All are there. So we'll be reading 5 verses today, 24 to 29. So let's repeat 24, 25. Okay. tathaiva muṣṭika pūrvaṁ sva-muṣṭyābhihatena vai balabhadreṇa balinā talenābhihato bhṛśam pravepitaḥ rudhiram udvaman mukhato rditaḥ vyasuḥ papātorvy-upasthe vātāhata ivāṅghripaḥ tathaiva muṣṭikaḥ pūrvaṁ sva-muṣṭyābhihatena vai balabhadreṇa balinā talenābhihato bhṛśam pravepitaḥ rudhiram udvaman mukhato rditaḥ vyasuḥ papātorvy-upasthe vātāhata ivāṅghripaḥ tathaiva muṣṭikaḥ pūrvaṁ balabhadreṇa balinā pravepitaḥ rudhiram muṣṭikaḥ pūrvaṁ vyasuḥ papātorvy-upasthe vātāhata ivāṅghripaḥ. Matajis. tathaiva muṣṭikaḥ pūrvaṁ sva-muṣṭyābhihatena vai balabhadreṇa balinā talenābhihato bhṛśam pravepitaḥ rudhiram udvaman mukhato rditaḥ. Okay, tathā also. Eva similarly. Muṣṭikaḥ muṣṭika. Pūrvam previously. Sva-muṣṭyā with his fist. Abhihatena who had been struck. Vai indeed. balabhadreṇa by Lord Balarāma. Balinā the powerful. Talena with his palm. Abhihataḥ struck. bhṛśam violently. pravepitaḥ trembling. Saha he muṣṭika. rudhiram blood. udvaman vomiting. mukhato from his mouth. rditaḥ tormented. vyasuḥ lifeless. papāta he fell. urvi of the earth. upasthe onto the lap. vāta by the wind. ahataḥ struck down. iva like. ivāṅghripaḥ a tree. Translation. Similarly, Muṣṭika struck Lord Balabhadra with his fist and was slain. Receiving a violent blow from the mighty Lord's palm, the demon trembled all over in great pain, vomited blood, and then fell lifeless onto the ground like a tree blown down by the wind. Next verse. Tatah kūtam anupraptam Rāmah praharatam varah avadhillīlayah rajan savagyam vāma-muṣṭina. Confronted next by the wrestlers, Kūta, Lord Balarāma, the best of fighters, playfully and nonchalantly killed him with his left fist, O king. Tarhi eva hi shala Krishna prapadāhata shirshakah vidha viddirna shasto shalaka ubhav api nipetatuhu. Then Krishna struck the wrestler Shala in the head with his toes and tore him in half. The Lord dealt with Toshala in the same way, and both wrestlers fell down dead. Chanure muṣṭike kūte shale toshalake hate sheshaha pradudruvurmallaha sarve prana paripsavah. Chanur, Muṣṭik, Kūta, Shala and Toshala having been killed, the remaining wrestlers all fled for their lives. Gopan vayasyan akrishya tai samsrijya vijarhatuhu vadyamane shu turyeshu valganto rutanupurau. Krishna and Balaram then called their young cowherd boyfriends to join them, and in their company the lords danced about and sported, their ankle bells resounding as musical instruments played. Purport: nowadays we see that in championship boxing matches, as soon as there is a victory, all the friends and relatives of the victorious boxer rush into the ring to congratulate him, and often the champion will dance about in great happiness. Exactly in this mood, Krishna and Balaram danced about, celebrating their victory with their friends and relatives. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamiyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Vevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Tacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Seeking blessings from all the Vaishnavas. So we'll try to explain this wonderful pastime. So slowly we are coming to the climax. So what is the climax of the whole pastime? Killing of Kamsa. So for the last 2 chapters we have been seeing that how Akrura went to Vrindavan and called Krishna Balaram. They came to Mathura and they they were welcomed in Mathura, and then how they killed the washermen. So many pastimes we have seen, killing of Kuvalyapida, the elephant, and Krishna Balaram, they carried the tusk, the elephant tusk with them, and they broke the sacrificial bow. So, but what is the climax? It's killing of Kamsa, right? That is the name of the chapter, and that is, so we are just heading for that now. So just before killing of Kamsa, Krishna killed Chanura, the previous verse, and now Balaram, he has killed Muṣṭika. So these were there were many wrestlers, but the main were Chanur and Muṣṭik. I think there is a shloka also, Vasudeva Sutam Deva Kansa Chanura Mardanam, right? So that is very easy to remember that Krishna killed Chanur and Balaram killed Muṣṭik. So they were the two very, very strong wrestlers. So just see that Kamsa has been planning for so many years now to kill Krishna, right? To kill Krishna and Balaram. He sent so many demons to Vrindavan. They all failed. Then Kamsa said, okay, let me invite them to Mathura. And then he made so many plans in Mathura that the elephant will kill them, or so many other plans he made. And then finally he said, okay, the wrestlers will kill them, Chanur and Muṣṭik. So even that plan failed, Chanur and Muṣṭik. So this, we are reading this wonderful pastime, that how Krishna, he killed Chanur, and in today's verses we are seeing that how Balaram, he killed Muṣṭik. Now very interesting in this verse, it is said that Balaram killed Muṣṭik by his muṣṭik, because in Sanskrit, hand is called as muṣṭik, fist. So he killed Muṣṭik with his fist, right, with his palm. Any other pastime of Balaramji who killed a great demon with his palm, with his fist? Remember? Pralambasur, right. So we see in Vrindavan, so Balaram, Pralambasur also huge, huge demon. We know that he came in the form of a disguise of a cowherd boy. Then Krishna and Balaram, they divided themselves into two groups. And Pralambasur thought, let me be in Krishna's group, because he thought that Krishna is very powerful, Balaram is not that powerful, I'll kill Balaram easily. So Pralambasur was in Krishna's side, and Krishna's side they lost, and Pralambasur carried Balaram on his shoulders. And Pralambasur was running to a very far place. He thought, I'll go to a distant place and kill Balaram. So as he was going, so Balaram thought, something is wrong, why is taking me so very far place? And then after that, Pralambasur expanded himself, became huge, huge demon. And Balaram simply he just struck his head with his fist, and that's it. The huge demon was dead. What is this big thing for Balaram, Balaram is the first expansion of Krishna. The expansion of Balaram is Anantasesh. And Anantasesh carries all the universes on his head. Right? So Balaram is the first expansion of Krishna. Then from Balaram we have the Chaturvyuha, Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Anirudh, first Chaturvyuha, then second Chaturvyuha, then we have Mahavishnu, like that. So many expansions they come out of Balaram. So what is the big deal for Balaram to kill this? But in pastimes it becomes very enjoyable when we hear the pastimes, that how Krishna and Balaram, they killed various demons in Vrindavan. So Balaram, just like he had killed Pralambasur with his fist, so here we are seeing that very effortlessly Balaram, he killed Muṣṭik, right? And it is said that Muṣṭik fell to the ground like a tree blown down by the wind. So beautiful analogies are given in Bhagavatam. So sometimes we see, when there is a big hurricane or a big storm, so even huge trees, they fall down to the ground effortlessly, right? Huge trees. So similarly, the example is given that although Muṣṭik was huge, very powerful, Chanur and Muṣṭik were very powerful wrestlers. You can't even imagine how strong they were. So, but such a strong wrestler, he just fell to the ground, just like huge tree falls to the ground when there's a big storm. So that is the analogy given here. And blood came out of his body, and he was dead immediately, just by one strike of Balabhadra. The word used here for Balaram is not Balaram but Balabhadra. That means especially to emphasize that Lord Balaram, who is like full of strength, Bala. So Srila Prabhupada explains that here Bala refers to, of course, physical strength also, but for Bala more spiritual strength. So therefore, when we come to Balaram, Krishna Balaram, we should pray to Lord Balaram to give us spiritual strength. So that is very much needed, especially for me and the devotees in general, because it's very difficult to practice devotional service in this age of Kali with so many distractions and so many temptations. So we need spiritual strength to overcome Maya, and that spiritual strength can be given by Balaram. So therefore the word used here is Balabhadra. Bhadra is also auspicious. So sometimes the strength can be inauspicious also. Like the demons, they have strength, but that is inauspicious. But the strength by Balaram is auspicious. Therefore he is called as Balabhadra. Normally we say Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, right? Balabhadra, Subhadra. So Balabhadra is full of auspicious strength. So Balaram, he can bless us with spiritual strength so that we can advance in our Krishna consciousness. And Lord Balaram's representative is spiritual master, because he is the Adi Guru, Lord Balaram. So therefore we should always pray to Srila Prabhupada, to our spiritual masters, for spiritual strength. Ekaki amara nahi paya bala hari nama sankirtane. Tumi kripa kari shraddha bindu diya. So alone we can't chant the holy names, we can't perform bhakti. We need spiritual strength, and that spiritual strength can come from Lord Balaram through the Guru Parampara. So we should always pray to Lord Balaram and seek his mercy and pray to him for spiritual strength so that we can continue in the process of Krishna consciousness. So this should be our mood. Always you should pray to Balaram for giving us spiritual strength, because he is very powerful. So and then after Balaram killed Muṣṭika, there is another wrestler named Kuta who came to fight with Balaram. And he said that Balaram, he just killed him with his left fist, Normally, it is considered that right side is more powerful. But he said that Balaram killed Kuta with his left fist. In Hindi, we say, bayan haath ka khel, He said, left hand is something very easy we do with left hand. Something very difficult we do with right hand. So it is said that Balaram, he killed Kuta with his left hand. Like Krishna, he lifted Govardhan with which hand? Right or left? Left. Because left hand is considered weaker hand. So just to magnify Krishna's wonderful strength, so Krishna lifted Govardhan with the little finger of his left hand. Saha effortlessly lifted Govardhan. Similarly, here it is said that Balaram, he killed Kuta with his left fist. He didn't even use his right fist. I think Muṣṭika he killed with his right fist, but for Kuta, just simple left fist was enough. He killed Kuta. And then there's another wrestler named Shala. He came to attack Krishna. Because Krishna had already killed Chanur. Now another wrestler, he came to attack Krishna, whose name was Shala. And what Krishna did? He struck Shala in the head with his toes. So Krishna kicked him on his head with his toes and tore him into half. Just see the power of Krishna's lotus feet, He just struck him in two parts. And similarly, Toshal, another wrestler, he came to attack Krishna, and Krishna also killed him similarly, effortlessly. So again, here we see, it's interesting. So Balaram killed the demons with his hand, and here we see Krishna kill Shala and Toshala with his feet. So Krishna's feet is very powerful. So just like Krishna killed these demons, so we can also pray to Krishna and pray at his lotus feet that he can also kill the anarthas within us, right? Which are also very, very powerful, like these wrestlers, Shala, Toshala, Chanur. So we also have all these anarthas in our heart, which are in the form of big demons. But for Krishna and Balaram, they can effortlessly kill these demons. So we can pray to Krishna that just like he killed Shala and Toshala with his lotus feet, so he may also kindly kill all the anarthas within us by his lotus feet, by meditating on Krishna's lotus feet. There is a verse in Bhagavatam 3rd canto. It is said that when we meditate on Krishna's lotus feet, there are various auspicious signs on Krishna's lotus feet. Just like we have thunderbolt and lotus and fish, various auspicious signs. It is said that the thunderbolt in Krishna's lotus feet can actually destroy the mountains of sins in our hearts. That is the power of meditating on Krishna's lotus feet. So by hearing today's pastimes, we can also pray to Krishna that please kill these mighty demons like Shala, Toshala, Chanur who are residing in my heart. So in this way, so Krishna killed Shala, Toshala, and Balarāma killed Muṣṭika and, anyone remembers Muṣṭika and Kuta? Very good, yes. So we should remember, difficult to remember, at least we can remember Chanur and Muṣṭik. So who killed Chanur? Krishna. And who killed Muṣṭik? Balarāma. And then other associates like Kuta was killed by Balarāma and Krishna killed Toshala and Shala. Now once these 5 main wrestlers were killed, that is Chanur, Muṣṭik, Kuta, Shala and Toshal. Now all the smaller wrestlers, imagine what they did. They all fled. They all ran away. Then they could see that if these big wrestlers are leaders, they were killed so effortlessly by Krishna and Balaram. Who are we? So they all ran away from there. And then what happened? The last verse today in today's section, 29th verse. So after this what happened? When all the wrestlers were killed, so Krishna and Balaram, they were there. And in the audience, there were so many devotees, like millions of viewers were there. And Krishna's friends from Vrindavan, they were there, the Gopas. So once Krishna and Balaram, they killed these wrestlers, what they did? They welcomed all their friends, So in the purport it is mentioned, even today we see that when someone wins a great match, or a wrestling, boxing match, or whatever, a cricket match, so they celebrate, right? Immediately the hero, he will raise his bat or he will call his friends and the fans will come. So same thing we are seeing here, because everything in this world is a perverted reflection of the spiritual world. So in Krishna's pastimes, we see all these things. So the moment Krishna and Balaram, they killed all the wrestlers, they started enjoying. So they called all their friends and so they called their young cowherd boyfriends to join them. And in their company, the lords danced about and sported. So great festival now. Their ankle bells resounding as musical instruments played. So Krishna and Balaram, they were wearing ankle bells. And they started dancing. And music started playing. Because music was, the instruments were already there, Before the wrestling match could start, so many musical instruments they were playing. But when the wrestling match was going on, it became very intense. Everybody was in great anxiety, what would happen? So there were no music that time. But after the match was over, after Krishna and Balaram, they killed everyone, again the music started playing, the drums started beating, and there was a great fun, enjoyment. Krishna, Balaram, they called their friends. So imagine, just visualize this big stadium. So millions of people are around, and when the fighting was going on, it was very intense. Everybody was absorbed, like what will happen now? They were so much in anxiety. And in the previous verses we saw that how the women of Mathura, they were feeling very bad. That look at Krishna and Balaram, they were so tender, so delicate. And this Chanur and Muṣṭik, they are such powerful wrestlers. This is not fair. Match should be fair. Like when there is a fight or a match, the opponent should be of the similar level. But the women of Mathura said, this is unfair. Krishna and Balaram, they are so tender, small. And Chanur and Muṣṭik are huge, mountain-like. This is not fair to have a match between them. So they were talking amongst themselves like this, that is adharma, it's irreligious. And they were all, great anxiety, what would happen. And some women, they started praising the fortune of the gopis of Vrindavan, a very famous verse, a few verses back. Gopyastapa kimacharan yadamushya rupam lavanya sarama samordhvam ananya siddham drigbihi pibanti anusva bhinavam durapam ekant dham yashasha shriya eshwarasya. So some women, they started speaking and they said, what austerities must the gopis have performed? With their eyes, they always drink the nectar of Lord Krishna's form, which is the essence of loveliness and is not to be equaled or surpassed. That loveliness is the only abode of beauty, fame and opulence. It is self-perfect, ever fresh and extremely rare. So actually in this pastime, we see all the different rasas, being exchanged with Krishna and Balarāma. So in the previous chapter, there was a famous verse, Mallanam Ashanid Ninam Naravara. So how different people in the wrestling arena, they perceive Krishna. So the wrestlers, for them, Krishna was like lightning, thunderbolt. For the kings like Kamsa and all, so they could see Krishna as death personified. So similarly, so all different people, they perceive Krishna in a different way. Like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Ye yathamam prapadyante tathaiva bhṛśam. So the way we reciprocate with Krishna, Krishna reciprocates back with us. Right? So we see here in this pastime, so we have the friends of Krishna, they were not that scared. They knew that Krishna and Balarāma, they were powerful. They have seen Krishna and Balarāma killing so many demons in their childhood. So they were not scared. They were enjoying the match. That is Sakyaras. But the parents like Vasudev and Devaki, Nanda Maharaj, the elderly people in Vatsalya, they became very anxious. That, oh, our small boy, Krishna, what will happen to him? Such powerful wrestlers. So they were in anxiety, that Vatsalya Bhav, that compassion came out of their heart. And so like that, the demoniac people, they were thinking that let Krishna be killed. But the pious people, they were praying that, oh Lord, please protect Krishna and Balarāma. So like that, so we can see different exchanges, different emotions or different rasas in different kinds of people who were there in the wrestling arena. So a wonderful pastime where we see all these various emotions, and finally we see that how the devotees in Sakyaras, immediately they came and started celebrating with Krishna, started jumping and celebrating with Krishna. Right? So I'm sure all of you must have, at least many of you must have seen such things, right? When so after victory, there's always celebration. Imagine a very intense soccer match or a cricket match, and then the victorious team, how they celebrate, Of course, these days they celebrate in a wrong way by opening some bottles and all. But here we see, it's not that kind of celebration, not opening champagne and wine and all. But here it's a sattvic celebration. They're all jumping with music and playing with Krishna and maybe chanting Krishna's names. That is the best celebration. Devotees, what they do? In our celebration, we always chant the holy names. So all the cowherd boys, they're glorifying Krishna. Oh, our Krishna is so wonderful, Balarāma is so wonderful. So they're all chanting Krishna's names. So that is a celebration of devotees. So we see a great celebration after all these wrestlers were killed. But one hand is a great celebration. But who is afraid now? Kamsa. We'll see in the subsequent verses that Kamsa is now absolutely scared, because he is now seeing that Krishna is just next to me. All these years, Krishna was not close to Kamsa. But now Krishna is so close to Kamsa, and he knows that he is going to kill me now. So you can imagine the state of fear in which Kamsa is there. So except Kamsa and his demoniac followers, all the people in the wrestling arena, they're all in a joyous mood now. They're all jumping, dancing, singing that Krishna Balarāma ki jai. They're all chanting because Krishna Balarāma, they killed all these powerful wrestlers. And they all knew now is the turn of Kamsa. They all knew that very soon this Kamsa will also be killed. But few of the demoniac people, Kamsa and his followers, so they were not happy. So we'll see in the subsequent verses that Kamsa will stop the celebration. He'll ask the music to stop. He'll ask all the musicians, stop all this nonsense. And then he will actually order to arrest Krishna Balarāma. And then Krishna will say, enough is enough. Now, Uncle Kamsa, I am coming to you now. And Krishna jumped to Kamsa. So imagine, so Kamsa was sitting on a big throne and the wrestling arena was there and Krishna killed all the wrestlers. Now Krishna jumped from there to the throne of Kamsa, like a high jump, and dragged Kamsa from there to the wrestling arena and jumped on Kamsa. I don't know, in my childhood I used to see sometimes, that time it was WWF, I don't know what it's called now. So there you see actually, so they'll throw the one wrestler below and they'll jump from a great height. And that's what Krishna did to Kamsa. So he threw Kamsa down and then jumped on Kamsa from a great height and killed Kamsa on the spot. Very easily. Such a powerful demon as Kamsa. So this is a wonderful pastime of Krishna killing Kamsa. And we're just coming to that climax now. So today we heard that how Balarāma killed Muṣṭika and Kuta, and Krishna killed Shala and Toshala. And so let's little bit discuss, I thought to just take up one topic. What was Krishna's age? Can you say what was Krishna's age when Krishna killed Kamsa, when this is happening? Not 14, 11. Actually little less. So I will read exactly from, actually many years back, I had heard this from Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj, actually he's here. I remember many years back, so he told this exact years, So this is from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary, that what was Krishna's exact age when this pastime happened. So he gives a very detailed description. I'll just read directly from here. So this is from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. Yes. So he says that in third canto of Bhagavatam, Uddhav says that Ekadasha samas tatra gudharchi sa balo vashat. So that means Krishna performed his pastimes with Balarāma for 11 years in Vraj. But actually it was not 11, little less than 11. So he gives a detailed explanation. So he says, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, that for 3 years and 4 months, Krishna performed his pastimes in Gokul. Krishna appeared in Mathura, then he came to Gokul. For us, actually, Krishna appeared in Gokul. So 2 Krishnas they appeared, one in Mathura, one in Gokul. So Krishna did his pastimes for 3 years, 4 months in Gokul. And that age is called Kaumara, when Krishna was a small baby. So he performed his pastimes in Gokul, like with Mother Yashoda, showing universe in his mouth, and little bit of stealing butter, makhan chori. So all these pastimes he performed in Gokul. There he mainly relished Vatsalya Bhav with Yashoda, with other elderly cowherd women. So Krishna, he delivered Yamalarjun. Damodar pastime happened in the month of Kartik, and Krishna appears in Janmashtami, that is August. So when this Damodar pastime happened, Krishna was 3 years, 4 months old. Right? 3 years and 4 months. And then Krishna moved from Gokul to Vrindavan, this area where we are, Chatikara, this Vrindavan, this area. So when Krishna was 3 years, 4 months, he moved from Gokul to Vrindavan. And in Vrindavan, he was mainly enjoying his Pauganda. So this period is called Pauganda. And here he enjoyed mainly his Sakhya Ras, pastimes with his friends. So like what pastimes he did here? Killing of Vatsasur, killing of Bakasur, killing of Aghasur. In our new Gurukul campus, that area we have killing of Aghasur. So Krishna did these pastimes when he was in Vrindavan. So that is next 3 years and 4 months. So when Krishna turned 6 years, 8 months, that time he went to Nandagram. So usually the Pauganda age is still 5 years. But for Krishna, he is little fast, So 3 years, 4 months he finished his Kaumar age and entered Pauganda. And 6 years, 8 months he finished Pauganda and entered Kaishor. So that means when he was 6 years, 8 months, he moved to Nandgaon, and from then onwards he started enjoying his Kaishor pastimes, and especially there he enjoyed his Madhurya Bhav with the gopis. So Bhṛśana was near Nandgaon. So that is the age when Krishna, he had his pastimes with the gopis, when Krishna was in Nandgaon. And then when Krishna was 10 years and 7 months, when Krishna was, just see the exact details what Acharyas are giving us. So when Krishna was 10 years, 7 months old, on the 11th day of the dark fortnight of Chaitra. So Chaitra is April, around April, right? So in the dark fortnight, that means in the Krishna Paksha, so on the Ekadashi day, Akrura went from Mathura to receive Krishna. So we read in the previous chapters, if you remember, the day Akrura reached Vrindavan, that was Ekadashi, Dwadashi. And then Krishna came to Mathura, and on the 14th day, on Chaturdashi, he killed Kamsa. So all these pastimes of, it happened in one day only, killing of Kolyapida, killing of Chanur, Muṣṭika, everything happened in one day. So this is Chaturdashi, in the month of Chaitra. That time Krishna's age was 10 years, 7 months. So let's remember, let's revise a little bit. So when Krishna was 3 years, 4 months, he moved from Gokul to Vrindavan. When he was 6 years, 8 months, he moved from Vrindavan to Nandgaon. And when he was 10 years, 7 months, he moved from Nandgaon to Mathura. So the killing of Kansa pastime happened when Krishna was 10 years, 7 months. So therefore approximately we can say 11. It's close to 11. So let's at least remember this, that Krishna killed Kamsa when he was almost 11-year-old. Right? But he was like a 15-year-old person. So he was in the Kaishor age, but his age was actually 10 years, 7 months, almost 11th year. So this entire pastime took place when Krishna was 10 years, 7 months. And then in Mathura, I forget, somewhere I had heard, how many years he studied in Mathura? Anyone remembers? Not 29, somewhere I heard. Anyway, I forgot to check that. Maybe I think 14 or something. Anybody remembers? Anyway, so then Krishna spent some years in Mathura, and then from Mathura Krishna went to Dwarka. So, actually, it is mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita that Krishna Loka, so we have the entire, so first you have the material world, then we have the spiritual world, there are so many Vaikuntha planets in spiritual world, then we have Ayodhya, Lord Ram's planet, then finally on the top we have Krishna Loka. And Krishna Loka has 3 parts. It is mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita that Krishna Loka has 3 parts. What are they? Gokul, or we say Vrindavan, Gokul, Golok, same thing. That is one part. Second part is Mathura, and third part is Dwarika. So actually in spiritual world, Krishna is simultaneously performing pastimes at all 3 places. Like in this material world, when we see Krishna's Bhaumya Leela, so Krishna is first there in Vrindavan, then he goes to Mathura, then he goes to Dwarka. But in spiritual world, pastimes are happening simultaneously in all the 3 places. So Krishna Loka has all the 3 areas. So we have Dwarka also there, then we have Mathura also, and we have Vrindavan. So Vrindavan has various names, Gokul, Golok, Vrindavan. So that is Golok Vrindavan, what we call it. But just below Golok Vrindavan we also have Dwarika, and below that we have Mathura and Dwarika below that. So all these 3 are together called Krishna Loka, because Krishna is there. in all these three lokas. But there's a little difference. So in Golok Vrindavan, it's pure love, without any influence of Aishwarya Bhav. It's pure Madhurya Bhav. This pure love is there in Golok Vrindavan. But in Mathura we see a little bit mixed with Aishwarya Bhav. And in Dwarika, the Aishwarya Bhav is even more. That is why we will see later that once Krishna killed Kamsa, so when Krishna and Balaram, they went to Vasudeva and Devaki to pay their obeisances. Now Vasudeva Devaki, they were influenced by Aishwarya Bhav. So they could understand, oh, this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna and Balaram, they remembered all this, how Krishna appeared in 400 form. So they could not embrace Krishna and Balaram. They just stood there. Because that Aishwarya Bhav came within them. They could understand that Krishna and Balaram, they are not our sons. They are actually, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So they could not embrace Krishna and Balaram. But later, we'll see in the next chapter, that Krishna and Balaram, they cover Devaki and Vasudeva's consciousness by Yogamaya. And then, finally, Vasudeva and Devaki, they'll embrace Krishna. So in Mathura, we see this mix of little bit of Aishwarya and Madhurya. So, just like we see Vasudeva and Devaki, they were covered over with Aishwarya Bhav. But in Vrindavan, it never happens. Yashoda, she always considers Krishna as her son. Even after seeing the universal form in the mouth of Krishna, Yashoda still embraced Krishna. Right? So that is Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, it's pure Madhurya Bhav. But in Mathura, little bit mix of Aishwarya Bhav is there. So anyway, so we are reading the wonderful pastimes of Krishna in Mathura, and beautiful pastime of Krishna killing. Of course, for us, every pastime of Krishna is relishable, whether it's Vrindavan, Mathura and Dwarka. But of course, if you see from objective point of view, then the pastimes of Vrindavan are the sweetest, because it's purely in Madhurya Bhav, without any tinge of Aishwarya. So, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to give us this highest form of Krishna Prem in the mood of Vrindavan by chanting the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. So we should read these pastimes of Krishna, at the same time chant the holy names, and with a desire that yes, one day, by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada and the Guru Parampara, we can also enter into the pastimes of Krishna. Hare Krishna. Any questions, comments? Yes, sir.
So Sri Kirti often said that Prabhupada really liked Krishna Balarāma a lot. And when Prabhupada came back from recuperating in India in 1967 to Los Angeles, even though it was a very humble little storefront and only a few devotees, Prabhupada was remembering Krishna Balarāma. He said, I really would like to eat ladus and kachoris with Krishna Balarāma. He mentioned a few times, and the devotee said, teach us how to make ladus and kachoris, Prabhupada, we'd like to make them for you. And so you see how Prabhupada is so much attached to Krishna Balarāma, studying Krishna Balarāma here in particular. From very early days, he was inspiring the devotees to, really pretty much revealing that he likes having friendship with Krishna Balarāma. So how much time did Krishna spend in Mathura?
I'm not very sure. I heard somewhere, I think around 14 years or something. Did you check? Okay, 18 years. Yes.
Huh?
18.
What are you doing in Mathura for 18 years?
He defeated Jarasandha 17 times. Remember Jarasandha came from, so assuming Jarasandha came every year once, so 17 years.
I'm just asking in general, what did he do in Mathura? Like, in Vrindavan, you take the cows, the cowherd boys, and they eat prasad in the forest, and dancing with gopis, and killing some demons. What did he do in Mathura?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we see in Mathura, for example, there also he had pastimes with Kubja, and he had his friend Uddhava. So he spent time. So he also exchanged different rasas in Mathura also, and with various ladies of Mathura also there was exchange of Madhurya ras. So all this was also happening in Mathura. But little bit he had a kingly kind of that royal nature came in Mathura. In Vrindavan is like a pure cowherd boy, but in Mathura it was like in between cowherd boy and a full-fledged king. So Dwarka is like a full-fledged king, so Mathura is in between. So some cowherd boy like and more like a king.
We learned that Mathura is in between. Okay.
Yeah. And Krishna's parents were there, and also Krishna went for some time to Ujjain. So when he came to Mathura, so for some time he went to do his studies to Ujjain. And then he came back, then so all these pastimes, yeah.
Hare Krishna. I've heard various devotees say that in the Goloka planet there's also a section of Navadvip I've never read that anywhere. Do you know where that's stated?
Yes, all acharyas they say that. In fact, you see the first canto, the old first canto in which we had the whole picture of the spiritual world that was personally painted by Srila Prabhupada. I mean, he directed this painting, and there clearly we see Golok Vrindavan, big lotus, Radha Krishna, and in one section we have Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So all acharyas they say it. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Prabhupada, everyone, that in Golok Vrindavan there is a section of Navadvip. So Navadvip is part of Golok Vrindavan. And Mathura and Dwarka, they are separate planets. And all three of them, they are called together as Krishna Loka. Any other questions or comments? So thank you very much. Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.